Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Bit Reviews. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Marine Park Empire. So, if you don't know what Marine Park Empire is, it's actually a sequel to another game called Zoo Empire, but it's never a game I never really played. I mainly talk about this game specifically because I played it a ton as a kid, and I really want to talk about it. It's really unpopular, like not a lot of people seem to know about it, and it definitely isn't as popular as its rival Zoo Tycoon, which is way better. But anyways, I'm still going to talk about this game anyways. So yeah, it is a sequel to Zoo Empire, but I've never played Zoo Empire really, and I don't really care to because it's basically an add-on onto Zoo Empire as far as I'm aware. But anyways, with that, let's just jump right into the gameplay. Okay, so what is Marine Park Empire? Marine Park Empire is a zoo simulator. So you get to go around, you can go into a campaign, or you can go into free mode, and you can just make a zoo. And it's really cool. The campaign is kind of needed for this game, because you can go through it, you have to go through it to unlock certain animals, like the more endangered animals in the game. So like sea turtles, types of rhinoceroses, certain types of bears. They're all locked behind the campaign. Luckily though, there are cheat codes in the game, so if you don't actually want to play the campaign, you can start up a game, press 2 buttons, and you win everything, and you can get the animals, which is pretty sick. The campaign, I never really actually played through it. I never actually tried some of the challenges, because I just don't really care for it. I kind of more an aspect of actual playing the game, which is what I'm definitely going into depth into in this review. So let's just start off first. So the gameplay is more focused on the zoo building, as always. You got the habitats, you can create fences, you have to keep the animals enclosed, you can get to train the habitats and everything. And you can also add rides to go around the park, so people can go ride around on a monorail and stuff. I've never really used that feature too much, but you also want to keep your guests happy, so you got to build snack stands, stuff like that. They're all pre-made for you, just kind of place them. And yeah, so there's a bunch of that. There's rides, tons of decorations, and I think it's really cool. One thing with the training though, it's very limited, and the way you have to keep animals at certain happiness as well. And if you want to keep this happiness, you have to make the habitats a certain way, or the animals are not going to be happy. I don't know if happiness really matters in overall gameplay, but it does make the difference of a question mark over the animal whenever they're interacting with things with the smiley face. So if you want to see the smiley face, you gotta fill these things, and they can be quite annoying. So for privacy of an animal, they don't have stuff in the habitat. It's what's outside the habitat, so you can't really have paths around the habitat, which is really annoying for a lot of animals, because it's grid based, so you can't just have it almost near the habitat. No, it's an entire block away from the habitat that it has to be, and it makes it kind of annoying and not really pretty if you want to have happy animals. So yeah, definitely the terrain and the designs that you can go with for the animal happiness definitely limits it a lot. Other things is they're kind of, I don't know if this is a glitch or not, but with fresh water, you have to be higher than ground level or at ground level to place fresh water. So if you go dig a hole, you can't place fresh water in that hole, which is super annoying because a lot of animals rely on fresh water. And it just makes good designs too for the habitats, but you can't incorporate that. And yeah, it's just kind of annoying that. Also, with hills and stuff, everything that you place has to be flat for some reason. So if you make hills or stuff, it won't let you place things. So if you want a cool hilly environment, you can't really do that because you can't place rocks, you can't place a tree, you can't place I forget what they're called, toys and stuff on it, or the habitat or the shelters, and it's just it's very annoying in that aspect. I do think you could still do if you want just a flat world, I think it works great. I think if you're looking for more hilly designs, this game isn't really good for that. Not that you say it's impossible, but it's just annoying to get done. So when it comes to actual designing the game, it isn't amazing. It works, but if you want to make it absolutely amazing looking, it's hard to do, and it's time consuming a little bit. But I still have fun with it. I still think it's fun. So with that, let's go on to some glitches with the game. So there is an annoying glitch with some of the marine life where they can kind of just get stuck, and that's that. Like, they just get stuck. Like, you have to go up to them and you have to move them, or else they'll just lay there and die. Like, and it's super annoying. And you can tell when they're stuck too. It's super obvious. Like, they don't move or anything. I don't know if it's just something with the AI or if something, it's just an AI glitch, but it's not with all the marine life. Like, it's only with select things, like manatees, I think some dolphins. Like, I don't know why it's not all of them, but it's like select marine life. And then when it comes to healing marine life too, because the vets can't really, this isn't really a glitch, but it is kind of annoying having to do it. Like, you have to move them to a separate tank. I mean, I guess it's more realistic, so that's really cool in that way. But the vets can't heal the marine life unless you put them in a separate tank. But even then, sometimes they won't do that. And it's kind of glitchy that way. And speaking of staff, the staff aren't really great at their job unless you hire a ton of them. And even then, to get them to do their job, it's kind of annoying. I mean, if you do assign them to the habitats, which is kind of a process, like you have to put a flag down, you have to name the flag, and you have to go into the player and then do that, or the staff and then do it. They kind of are, but sometimes they're really bad at feeding the animals, sometimes they're really bad at healing the animals. The staff, I mean, they will do their job, but they're not the most amazing at their job. So the AI definitely needs some improvement in that ways. And another glitch in this game that I've noticed is like some of like the toys and stuff for the animals, they just don't really have any function to them. Like, a lot of them do, but then some is like, just go lay on a rock. Like, they don't have function for them laying on a rock. But I've looked at the prequel and they are in that. So I don't know why it didn't transfer over to this game. I don't know if that was a glitch. I don't know if they just removed it on purpose because it was breaking something. But there are definitely a lot of glitches in this game. I don't think overall they affect the fun. I still think it is a fun game to play, and it definitely has some good experiences in it. I can see why some people would get annoyed with it, but personally I still think it was a really fun game. I still was able to create some cool designs, and they do have tutorials as well, so like you can play the tutorial and they tell you like, oh, you don't need fences for habitats, you could just build like really steep rocks, and you're like, oh wow, this is like a really cool rock to exhibit. And they do have like things, so like you do have plenty of ability to design cool things. It's hard getting around some of these stubborn parts of it that make it a little bit harder than most games. Oh, and then the menu. So the menu, I think, can be a bit confusing at first, but I do think it does a good job at translating everything well. I do wish it was more obvious because it is just like one tiny little thing in the center, and like some of them are placed kind of weirdly. But overall, I think the menu is pretty well made and it's easy to navigate and get through. But that's all I'm going to say about the gameplay. Alright, so the graphics. I think the graphics actually are pretty decent for like an old PC game like this. The characters, the humans, I would say, don't look great, but you could tell they didn't really put a lot of time into them. But besides that, I think the animals do look really good and really nice. Some of them, they could tell they put a lot of effort in. And for old PC game like this, I do think they do look good. The environment isn't the best, but it isn't bad at all in any way, shape, or form. I do think the art style that they went for definitely is a good art style to have. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. And that's all I have to say. I think it's a good looking game. And it does kind of hold up a little bit for modern age. Okay, story. Short and simple. There isn't really one. Unless you go into the campaigns, each one kind of has their own individual story, but it's not really a story. If you want a story, here, I'll give you one. You're a zookeeper, build a zoo, do whatever you want. That's the story. So I'm not going to say much more about that. Alright, so the overall conclusion. I think the game is still super fun, even with all of its flaws. I do think they could have, I think it is overall rushed, and I do wish when they released it on Steam, they could have maybe patched out some of those bugs, but they don't, but it's fine. I do think I have way too much nostalgia for this game, and I still love playing this game to this day. So I do think it is great. I don't think that it holds up to its modern competitors. So for example, Planet Zoo, it is nowhere near as good as Planet Zoo. And for when it released around the time, it released around the time as Zoo Tycoon 2, and I still think Zoo Tycoon is the superior game of the two of them. Planet Zoo is now definitely the superior game, but of back then, Zoo Tycoon 2 is definitely the superior game. And you may not agree with me, but I'm going to give the game a 4.8 out of 8. I know it's a little high for how much I trashed on the game, but I really do love this game. I do think it's a good game, and I don't think it deserves a failure. So thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment. And I'll see you guys soon.